how the UK's Gravehawk is tackling Ukraine's costliest challenge. Gravehawk, a UK-designed air defense system, has been rapidly developed to meet Ukrainian needs on the battlefield. This project has been jointly funded by the UK and Denmark. Buried in the details of the UK's latest military aid package to Ukraine was a surprising revelation: a previously unknown air defense system called the Gravehawk, catching defense analysts completely off guard. How does the UK keep coming up with these awesome names for weapon systems? First the Starstreak, and now the Gravehawk. Much better than the dorky Patriot. When it comes to innovation in Ukraine, the UK seems to have turned its attention to repurposing air-to-air missiles for ground-based defense. Enter the Gravehawk, a cutting-edge mobile air defense system that promises to help Ukraine's defenses against Russia's relentless aerial bombardment. And yes, it's about time someone on Downing Street figured out how to address the expensive problem of shooting down Iranian kamikaze drones with a $4 million Patriot interceptor. Hey friends, Wes here, and Ukraine is experiencing a problem that many countries will soon face: how to shoot down cheap kamikaze drones like the Shahed without spending a fortune on interceptor missiles. So, what is the Gravehawk? Well, the Gravehawk is a UK-designed and Denmark-funded system, and is essentially a shipping container-sized contraption capable of retrofitting air-to-air missiles for ground launches. While the UK Ministry of Defense remains tight-lipped about which specific missiles are in play, it's important to note that the system uses munitions already in Ukraine's arsenal. No need for more logistical headaches or supply chain issues. My educated guess would be a Soviet air-to-air missile, but if they were using NATO missiles, it would probably be the AIM-9 Sidewinder or the AIM-120D AMRAAM, both of which are more than capable of taking down Shahed 136 drones. So how many of these missiles are in Ukraine's inventory? Well, it's actually a difficult question to answer. The number of AIM-9s is not publicly disclosed, but we do know that Ukraine has at least 150 AMRAAMs. The Gravehawk could also be built to fire Ukraine's much larger stockpile of Soviet-era air-to-air missiles like the R-27, the R-73, and the R-60. That seems logical. Since the invasion started, Ukraine has struggled to maintain adequate air defenses despite receiving advanced systems like the US-made Patriot. This isn't Ukraine's fault. These systems, while effective, are costly and limited in numbers, leaving gaps in Ukraine's air defense network. Gravehawk aims to fill those gaps without draining coffers or running out of ammunition. Justin Bronk, an air power analyst at the Royal United Services Institute, calls Gravehawk a way to, quote, use more plentiful and affordable ammunition sources, end quote. In other words, stop firing champagne-priced Patriots at bargain beer drones. With Gravehawk, Ukraine can preserve its expensive systems for high-end threats, like ballistic and cruise missiles, while using retrofitted missiles for everyday drone takedowns. This approach isn't new to Ukraine. A precursor to Gravehawk's development involved mounting AIM-132 advanced short-range air-to-air missiles on Supercat truck chassis. For comparison, the AIM-132 cost about $200,000 each, compared to the Patriot interceptor at $4 million per missile. This improvised system reportedly shot down Russian Orlan-10 reconnaissance drones and the now infamous Shahed 136 drones. Defense Express, a military news site, speculates that these earlier systems paved the way for Gravehawk's design. The UK Ministry of Defense revealed that 2 Gravehawk prototypes were tested in Ukraine last September. Following their success, 15 more systems are slated for delivery this year as part of a record-breaking £4.5 billion military aid package from the UK. This aid includes not just air defense systems, but also drones and other critical equipment to fortify Ukraine's battlefield position. The UK has already provided Ukraine with the Terrahawk Paladin platform, another great name, an air defense system designed to track and neutralize drones while safeguarding critical national infrastructure. Developed by UK-based MSI Defense Systems, the Terrahawk system is containerized and mounted on a NATO-standard, demountable rack offload and pickup system. This versatile module can be deployed on the ground with a remote control or quickly mounted on a military support vehicle, or trailer-based system for that matter, operated by a 2-person crew. One to monitor targets and the other to engage them. The platform is adaptable for point defense missions or integration into a broader combat management system for area-wide defense. Ukraine's need for more air defenses was demonstrated dramatically when a Russian drone ventured dangerously close to Kyiv's presidential palace during UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer's recent visit. The message here seems to be that Russia's not giving Ukraine a breather, and Kyiv's defenses need all the help they can get. Gravehawk isn't the only thing on the menu. The UK's new military aid package includes a £2.26 billion loan, part of the G7 Extraordinary Revenue Acceleration Scheme. This funding will enable Ukraine to procure more air defense systems, drones, and other essential equipment. The plan also emphasizes strengthening UK-Ukraine defense industrial ties, a move that is as much about supporting Ukraine as it is about boosting British jobs and industry. BAE Systems and Sheffield Forgemasters are also stepping up to produce artillery barrels for the first time in almost 2 decades, thanks to a £61 million contract. Meanwhile, Operation Interflex, which has trained over 51,000 Ukrainian recruits, is set to expand, with Ukrainian officer cadets heading to the Royal Military Academy in Sandhurst and British cadets learning firsthand from Ukraine's battle-hardened forces. This is precisely the type of two-way information sharing that is symbolic of military allies. New Ukrainian recruits get some of the best British military training in the world, and the Brits get real-world lessons from Ukrainians who are fighting the Russians firsthand and can pass on those lessons learned. Gravehawk's significance goes beyond its practical application. To me, it symbolizes a shift in how nations like the UK are approaching modern warfare. By developing systems that adapt existing weapons for new purposes, the West is demonstrating an ability to innovate faster than Russia can adapt. And let's face it, Moscow's military strategy often looks like it's stuck in the 1980s. This isn't to say that Russia's aerial tactics are ineffective. Far from it. The Kremlin's use of kamikaze drones and long-range missiles has caused immense damage and forced Ukraine to stretch its defenses thin. But with systems like Gravehawk, Ukraine is fighting back smartly, using technology to level the playing field, as it has done since day one. Here's the thing. Ukraine is an enormous country, and defending its airspace requires a layered and diverse approach. Gravehawk adds another layer to this defense, complementing existing systems like AMRAAMs and Patriot. By making use of Ukraine's existing missile stockpile, it reduces dependency on external supplies and ensures a more sustainable defense strategy. What's more, Gravehawk's mobility means it can be deployed wherever it's needed most. Unlike fixed systems, it can adapt to shifting front lines and provide coverage for troops and critical infrastructure alike. As the UK ramps up its support for Ukraine, it's clear that this isn't just about altruism. Supporting Ukraine strengthens Western security and sends a clear message to Russia: aggression will not go unchecked. Prime Minister Starmer's statement that, quote, Ukraine's security is our security, end quote, is a truth bomb that everyone in the West needs to hear. Gravehawk represents a practical and symbolic step forward. It's a testament to the ingenuity and resilience of Ukraine's allies in the face of Russian aggression. As more systems are deployed, the hope is that they'll help tilt the balance in Ukraine's favor, proving once again that innovation and adaptability are the ultimate force multipliers. Every time you say the words force multiplier, somewhere in the world a puppy dies. For Russia, Gravehawk is yet another headache in a war that isn't going as planned. 6 months into the Ukraine war, when it became painfully apparent that Putin was bombing civilian apartment complexes and energy infrastructure, I imagined a day when Ukraine would have enough air defense assets to effectively close the skies. An Iron Dome, if you will, but Ukrainian style. The Gravehawk is another important step in that direction. While Putin is busy patching together strategies from the Cold War, Ukraine and its allies are creating the next generation's playbook for sovereign defense. If nothing else, Gravehawk serves as a reminder that the best way to counter cheap Iranian drones is with cheap British air defense. That's it for today, friends. Subscribe if you agree that the UK has really stepped up to the plate with their Ukraine aid lately. And as always, glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. Crimea is Ukraine.